Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to our webinar on open source Odyssey, a journey into open source GSoC'24 edition. Myself, Preksha Mahajan, community lead of Open Source Chandigarh, and I have with me Aryan Inguz. He is the open source lead at Open Source Chandigarh. Today, we'll be guiding you uh, towards the open source, how you can contribute and make a real impact in this world. Next slide, please. So, today's agenda of the webinar includes the meaning of open source, how you can start with it, how you can contribute to open source projects. We'll also be learning about the most trending program after Google Summer of Code, that is Girl Script Summer of Code 2024. Then Aryan will be guiding you about good practices while contributing to open source. He'll be demonstrating the contributions live and he'll be telling you about two types of contributions. At the end, we'll be having a Q&A session. So first of all, what is open source? Anyone who would like to answer? Please don't hesitate. Raise your hands if you know. Yes, Suraj, please.
Hi everyone, am I audible?
Yes.
So open source is a free software which can be seen by everyone, which is public and can be modified if you want. Like these are the contribution of open source. We know, VLC media player. We all use that. So there are so many softwares which we use and that are open source, and you have also listed some of them here. So it is free open source, publicly viewed, and it can be modified according to the people who want to modify and enhance the software.
Right. So there are many beginners here. We'll be taking one example. So all of you love different types of food items, right? So consider one recipe made by you. You are the chef. So you share that recipe with your friends. They add their own ingredients, leading to more different types of food items with different flavors. So basically, that main recipe is like an open source software, and being you as the chef is the project owner. When you are sharing that recipe with your friends, they are putting their own inputs. That is considered as an open source contribution. Basically, based upon their needs, based upon their uh, utilities, people are modifying that recipe and making different types of new food items. So, open source is basically a type of software development approach, and open source software is something, a type of software whose source code is made available to the public, which can be accessed freely. The people who want to contribute into the open source softwares based upon their needs work collaboratively. There are different communities, and often the community support is really great. So, some of the examples of open source softwares include Flutter, Android, Mozilla Firefox, Linux, and even there are many programming languages that have their codes available, such as Python, PHP. Next slide, please. So, why should we contribute to open source? First of all, of course, skill development. When you are contributing to an open source project, you'll be able to learn new technologies based upon the project, and then you'll be able to collaborative collaborate with diverse individuals. You'll be able to learn new things. Then comes the innovation. When you're contributing to an open source project, you're improving it, you're fixing bugs, you'll be able to add your own inputs that can lead to more innovative ideas and a better project. Open source software is usually free to use, thus it reduces limitations, and it is really flexible because you can modify the source code based upon your needs. Last but not the least, you can find different types of vulnerabilities in any open source software which can be fixed more quickly. Next slide. So, how to contribute to open source projects? First of all, there are some prerequisites. Having a good knowledge of version control systems such as Git, GitHub is very important. Aryan will be elaborating about this later on. Then, based upon your skill set, you will be able to choose the open source project. Either you are a beginner or a professional, you can choose the projects and work upon them. In case you are a beginner, you can improve your skills along the way. There are many open source communities which you can join. You can attend their community meetups, subscribe to newsletters. You'll be able to meet and network with more people. You can even explore and connect with people across the globe using social media platforms like Twitter, LinkedIn. Coming to various open source programs. How many of you have heard about Google Summer of Code? Raise your hands. So, most of you have heard. Google Summer of Code is a very prestigious program conducted by Google. Also, being the community lead of Open Source Chandigarh, we are. I am really proud to say that one of our team members, Animesh, he has been selected as a contributor in Google Summer of Code this year. So, at beginner level, we have various open source programs such as Girl Script Summer of Code, Girl Script Winter of Code. We'll be discussing about Girl Script Summer of Code in the next slide. Then we have Hacktoberfest, which is conducted every year in the month of October. We had last year in 2023, we had about 20 to 25 students from our community, and they just did wonders in Hacktoberfest. At intermediate level, we have open source programs such as MLH Fellowship, and at advanced level, of course, we have Google Summer of Code, Google Season of Docs, Outreachy program, and LFX mentorship program. Next slide, please. So, talking about Girl Script Summer of Code, the most trending program after Google Summer of Code. Girl Script Summer of Code is a 3 months long open source program conducted by Girl Script Foundation every year. I'll be sharing one link. Please open. So this is the official website of Girl Script Summer of Code. You can apply as a contributor, mentor, and project admin as per your need. And in case you are a rich person, you can obviously sponsor them. So this is the schedule of Girl Script Summer of Code 2024 program. You have to apply as a contributor till 10th May. You can use our referral code, we'll be sharing with you once again. And from 10th May, the coding period starts. On 30th May, the leaderboard will open, and till 30th July, you will be able to contribute. Then, in the second week of August, result will be declared. So, we can see the projects here. These are the projects which were selected for 2023 program. So, you can see many projects here. There are about 97 projects, and their details as well. So, based on your tech stack, you'll be able to choose the project. Suppose if you want to contribute in a project uh, and you have the tech stack as HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you can select your tech stack here. You can check out the project details. This includes the description, and here we have the repository link. So you'll be able to see many projects here having HTML as these technology used. So based upon your PRs, the leaderboard will be updated. So you can see his score was the maximum, so he was ranked at the first position. And here you can check out the job opportunities. You can register here. Here you will be able to see the team members, and you can contact them for any kind of issue. So this is just the basic information about open source and Girl Script Summer of Code. We'll be discussing about good practices while contributing to open source projects, and then we'll be showcasing you one live PR merging. So Aryan, please continue.
Sure. So, hello everyone. I'm Aryan, open source lead at Open Source Chandigarh. So, first of all, really great to see so many people coming at weekend morning for this webinar. So, that tells you a lot about the love for open source. So, now I'll share my screen and actually guide you through the practical stuff, how you can start, right? So, basically, it's very important that you follow some practices when contributing to open source. So, any of you aware about Express.js? Please raise your hand if any of you know about Express.js, right? So you know, guys. So recently there was case when many of Indians were actually doing some stash commits to Express.js repository, and their maintainers actually pointed out that, right? So you are you guys aware about that? Any of you want to speak about that? Just raise your hand. Okay, Suraj, go ahead. Hello, Suraj, go ahead.
Hi, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
So in that repository, so many beginners who want to learn Git and GitHub, they watch the YouTube video, and that YouTube video girl suggested that showed them to that Express.js repository, and they spammed that repository by updating just one line of code or something else in the README file.
Yeah, correct. So basically, they were just changing the capital words to smaller letter words and all those stash commits, right? So this is not a good practice, basically. If you're not doing something for the repository, then that's not a contribution. It's just you are doing for the sake of green blocks on GitHub. That's not good. I will prefer having 10 blocks on GitHub rather than 100 blocks, but being actual good commits, right? So first of all, keep that in mind that you don't have to do commits just for the sake of that. You have to do commits for making the repository in fact better, right? So for that you need to read the guidelines and context. So many repositories have their guidelines, contributing.md, code of conduct.md, etc., where you can actually see how you can contribute to repositories, right? So actually, many repositories don't allow you to make a PR without having any issues, right? So if you are familiar with GitHub, you might know that there are issues tab on every repositories. So basically, issues tab on repositories tells you the issues that has been created by the maintainers that they want to be addressed for the repositories on priority. So it's important that you first address those issues, or you create your own first and then create a PR rather than just creating a PR without any issues or anything, right? So that's very important that you follow the proper guidelines and context. And second thing is code quality. As I told you, don't do stash commits. Do something that actually improves the repository. And third point is code reviews. So code reviews basically how your maintainers will review your code, or you yourself review your code, that it's actually like up to the mark. It's not like having any bugs or errors, right? So next slide, please. Next slide. Yes. So now I will share my screen and show you how you can actually do the practical stuff, right? So we at Open Source Chandigarh have our own repository on GitHub as an organization uh, uh, where we host many cool projects. And recently there was one cool project in Hacktoberfest. This is Euphoria Check. So it is a thermometer if you are aware about PERMA model of happiness. So it was based on that. It's a psychology-based model given by Martin Seligman. So it basically asks you some questions based on your happiness index and provide you a complete measure of happiness index. So this was one of the projects in Hacktoberfest, as you can see, Hacktoberfest 2023. So in this project, we had many stars contributors. As you can see, we have 5 contributors. And after this, we also participated in Social Winter of Code, where we had more than 30 contributors for this repository. And I was the maintainer of this. So as you can see, this has like its code of conduct, which I was talking about. It clearly says that you need to create issues and be respectful, no harassment, constructive communication, coding excellence, inclusivity, all those things, right? Which are some basic things you need to be aware of, right? So now we'll show you how you can contribute, right? So I will, in fact, want you guys to do the same. So since we are talking about Girl Script Summer of Code, I want your help to this repository, right? I want you guys to change this Hacktoberfest 2023 and the content about this to Girl Script Summer of Code. And you can easily do that by just forking this repository. As you can see, this is a fork tab. You just need to click on fork tab. So come on, guys, all of you need to do this. Go to this link. I will share this link in uh, chat section. Okay, so all of you need to go to this link. Then we will resume to actually how you can start doing the stuff. So if you are up to there, just raise your hand so I know. Cool, cool, right. So when you are here, you need to just click on this click button. So this basically creates a duplicacy just which you own, right? So this just create a new repository which is on your account. So this is not the real account repository that will be created. This will be just the demo repository of the original repository. So after changing to this duplicate repository, you can just create a pull request to the main repository, and then it's up to the maintainer to accept that or not. So after you create this, you just need to go to the README and change this Hacktoberfest to the script summer of code. So go ahead, and the first one to do that will be merged right now with our official organization account. Go ahead, just create a pull request here so that I can merge and create a good message. Yes, it's also important that you create a clean and good commit message so that I know what you have changed. So go ahead, guys, and please raise your hand if you are up to this. So you can use ChatGPT as well if you want. Just don't make it too big. This section, don't make it too large. I just need a good concise section that tells about Girl Script Summer of Code. what it is and why this repository is made for that, something like that. I will prefer that. Good, concise context about the Girl Script Summer of Code program. Go ahead and do your PR, and I will merge the best one. Okay, so one PR has been created by Harsh, right? Nice. Okay, so Harsh, you haven't added any good commit message, but you have changed. So I will prefer that you have add that as well. But good that you have done the first PR. So it's important to know that it's not always about the speed. So first of all, one error I told you about to I told you to write about Girl Script Summer of Code Note Hack to Go 2024. So just change that as well. Come on, guys, any more PRs? Okay, one more PR. Jatin, right? So good. So good message. Uh, nice. So Girl Script Summer of Code, right? So also, Jatin, you haven't changed the below section, this content section. Also, I will prefer someone who have everything done. So as I told you guys, it's not always about the speed. It's about the quality as well, right? So now Kshitij has done another commit PR. So I'll check. Cool. So I like this one, and I also like the commit message here as well. So I will merge this. Cool. So now it's been merged. So you see how simple it is to actually do a PR. And as I told you about the example of Express.js that they were doing stash commits. So this commit is you can't compare this commit to a stash commit. So this is not actually a stash commit. So I actually needed a change here. So right. So I needed someone to change the readme.md for me. That's why even if it is about 2 or 3 lines, it is useful. But in Express.js repository, they were just doing some stash commits like changing this girl script to lower capitals or adding a space. Those things are stash commits. Many people do that for like having a streak on GitHub, having green blocks on GitHub. That is useless. That's not good, right? So I will tell you how you should start contributing to GitHub, right? First now. So basically, you have a skill. Let's assume you know JavaScript a lot. So if you are a beginner, I will prefer you to just search on this topic, JavaScript on GitHub, and you will see many repositories here with the same topic. So many of these repositories are complex. Many of these are like beginner friendly. So there is thing called good first issues. So when you open a repository, there's always like good first issues for beginners, or like first issue you can have your hands on for the repository. And since if you are a beginner, you don't want to mess around with too much complexity, you just go here and just do with the recently updated, and you'll see some cool beginner friendly repositories here. Like as you can see, a library for encoding, decoding SBR data. So this might sound you complex, but you can always find out like good amount of. So like this one is beginner friendly, I think. So it's not. So there might be some repositories which are empty. They don't have like anything here. So like you need to go ahead with that. So as you can see, this one is beginner friendly. As you can see, a repository is on the top page. So like this repository was a beginner friendly for your check. So I made this repository project when I was in first year. So you can easily contribute to this repository in like home page, anything like about page. You can add and contact page, anything, footer, header. So this is a beginner friendly repository. You just go here on the issues tab, see what I need. Like I have already one issue here to improve the navbar. So this is a beginner friendly issue. And like you might see many labels here. Like I haven't added any label here, but in many issues you will see a good first issue label. So this level is basically added for beginners to start getting used to with the repository. So this is the first step. If you are a beginner-friendly developer, you need to go ahead, search for your favorite tech stack, and find out the most suitable repository for you where you can actually contribute. Like this one has a good issue which you can actually contribute, improve navbar. Any beginner can do go ahead with this, right? So after you are done with this, it's time for the next step. So after you are done with Girl Script Summer of Code, it's very important that you go ahead and try out with Google Summer of Code. And for that, it's important that you know how to contribute to big repositories. So this is the repository I was talking about. This is the Express.js website, and you can contribute to this repository, but not do any stash commits, which is important. And like first your instinct should be to go to the issues tab and see what you can add. So as you can see, dark mode flash. So if you are a intermediate level of developer, you will know that this is not a very complex issue. If you know React.js and all those things, you might know about theme navigation, right? So if you are an intermediate level of developer, you will be easily able to contribute to this. So after you do this, you will be to the next step of Google Summer of Code. That's why we are here, right? So we want you guys to be at the next level. And at Open Source Chandigarh, our vision is to be the pioneer of like open source. We want everyone to love open source as much as we do, right? So it's important that you just start with for your check, go to Express.js, and so just like you start with the script Summer of Code and go to Google Summer of Code. So that's about how you can actually do the stuff. And if you have any questions, do raise your hand. I will try to answer as many as I can. Anyone? Okay, so by the way, one fun fact, any of you aware about React.js? It's also open source. How many of you know that? Cool, cool, right. So another thing about one good advantage about being open source is that if the project is open source, it's highly maintainable, right? If any of you use React Native, it's a mobile development framework. So recently there is one Expo bundle tool here, which had like one bug, and for 2 days the complete project was dead, right? Nobody was able to use Expo bundler for creating their mobile apps. But within one day, the issue was resolved. So that's the power of open source, you see. There was some issue in the project. Someone created an issue, and within one day, that issue was resolved. Consider this same case if your project is closed source. How you are being able to solve that issue by your own, or by the team of 10 people or 100 people, right? And in the same way, like in the opposite case, if your project is open source, you might have like thousands or lakhs of people using your project, and they can actually help you with maintaining that as well. And this is one of the reasons, like Linus, who is the founder of Linux, made the Linux open source as well. And there is a big misconception that if you do your project open source, many people will steal your work, or like you won't earn much, which is a big lie. Like Linus earns a lot by Foundation, which actually maintains the Linux software for him. So if you create a open source project which is highly useful, you will definitely earn a lot, and in fact you will get a lot of fame in software development. Like, we are not actors, like, right? So many people say like software developers are not popular, but if you are a software developer who is very active in open source, you will be Linus someday. Like, everyone knows Linus, even some who are not from the software development background. So it's important that you do something with the open source, because it's a responsibility as well. So uh, no, I won't say that it's compulsory to create a new branch. You can just create to the original branch as well. Yeah, so it's important that you fork the repository. Without that, you won't be able to actually contribute to your local to the repository. So, but it's not important that you need to create a new branch and then push it to the another new branch. You can just push it to the PR to the main branch only. And if maintainer do some checks on that PR, and if the checks are successful, he will merge the checks. So he will merge the PR. So basically, if you are aware about GitHub workflows, CI/CD pipelines, so basically those pipelines are made for these checks only, to automate these checks. So basically, they check like if you did something with this code or did something with this code. So they're like automated script that checks if your pull request is actually valid or not. So when you grow in your software development journey, you will know that there are many CI/CD pipelines which you can use in your projects to automate the PR checking. So this helps massively on a large scale projects. And any other questions? Okay, so any of you want to share some cool open source projects that you found out recently or you use in your daily life? I will love to hear that, and actually give some good hamper on my behalf if someone shares something unique. Yes, Sukrit, no code commits are considered to be valid. As you can see, as you saw today, Kshitij did one commit on the README file, which I actually needed, right? So PR are not always about code. It's about improving the repository. So if you improve the repository or project in any way, it's considered to be a good commit or PR, sorry. Yeah, so it's considered to be a good contribution if you are actually improving the project, even if you are adding the image, even if you are just deleting a line of code or something, right? Anything that improves the repository, improves the project, considered to be a good contribution. Uh, Let me check another question if I had. Yes, Shit is very good point. Yes, we should wait for issue to be assigned to us. So as you can see, they were today you just a second. Yeah. So today we just created a pull request. We didn't try it with the issue thing because it is such a it's a bit time consuming. So normally you just do you just go to the repository, create a your issue. For example, in this today's repository, you can just go and create an issue that I want to add a footer. The current footer is not as good as the website, so I will like to add a new footer and create what you will like to add. Just like I will like to add a footer in Tailwind CSS which is animated or something, right? And if another person do the same issue, create the same issue, then it's up to the maintainer whom he want to assign the issue. For example, if someone said that I want to develop the footer in Tailwind CSS and someone other says that I want to develop in Bootstrap, so I will prefer someone who is doing it in Tailwind CSS because the website is in Tailwind CSS. So it's up to the maintainer to assign those issues to someone he considers is best for the project. And you should always wait for the issue to be assigned to you. It is one of the most formal ways to start, right? Okay, so Yuvraj has shared one good project with me. Okay, so it's V Music. Nice, very good, very good, Yuvraj. So any other person would like to share his regular open source project that he uses? So just name five cool projects. I will like to give some good hamper if I find out some cool projects. Anyone just raise your hand and name some cool projects. Okay, so Pulkit has shared another project with me. Nice. Okay, so any other question, guys? So as you can see on your screen, like there are type of contributions, code and non-code. So as you saw today, one was the non-code contribution that Kshitij did. And of course, like we are software developers, so like coded contributions are most preferred, but it doesn't mean that non-coded contributions are not good. They are very, very important. But of course, you can start with non-coded contributions and go ahead with coded contributions as well if you're a beginner. And if you're not a beginner, still you can do to the non-code contributions. But of course, in your life, you will do more of the coded contributions. And one thing that I would like to add in open source is that if you're a maintainer of a repository, it's more fun than being a contributor. For me, I will share that why it's important. So if you're a maintainer of the repository, you deal with so many developers. You deal with maintaining the repository, maintaining the code, making sure that the code never crashes, all those CI/CD pipelines. So it involves a lot of steps. But if you're a beginner, go ahead with being a contributor, and then you can eventually switch to being a maintainer as well. So I personally did maintain two projects in the last year, and out of one project was in top three in social winter of code. So it's another very good open source program, just like JavaScript Summer of Code. Okay, so Suraj is saying like, can you tell me how I should create a new branch while contributing to an almost open source project? Like I think you said no, we should create a new branch. Ha. So right, Suraj, you should create a new branch if you are doing. But I said that it's not a compulsion to create a new branch. You can still do to the main branch if you want. If you are just confident enough. But of course, it's a good practice if you're a beginner to create a new branch. But I personally don't use that because I used to use that in when I was a beginner, but I currently do in the main branch only and try to make sure that I'm using correct CI/CD pipelines to not do any conflicts or do any like errors or bugs, etc. Right? So any other questions, guys? Feel free to add anything if I missed. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so Shiti has shared another cool project. You guys can check that in the chat. So guys, basically, as I told you about open source, like open source is one of the coolest thing. If you're not very good with CP, if you're aware about CP, please raise your hand. Yeah, so you guys might know about CP, right? DSA and all those things, right? So it's very good that you know DSA first of all. But I'm a developer myself. I prefer the developer routes. I prefer to actually build the applications. So for me, it was important that I do something to make sure that I'm not missing out on CP, right? So since I was not very good in CP, I decided to pursue with open source, and I had many good contributors to my projects, and I have around 30 followers on GitHub, 30 raw followers on GitHub, which is very good number if you are a beginner. So right, and I aim to have many more followers in GitHub as well. So it's another cool thing that you can have. It's like your achievement as well. Like I have a repository which has like around 30 plus more contributors. So when I was a beginner, I was not sure if I will have any repository that will have any stars. But now I have a repository which has like 10 stars, 15 stars, which is really cool. So it's important that you go ahead with open source if you're not very good with CP, and of course you can do both if you are good. But it's important that you do either of two things. I say like either do good level of CP or either do good level of open source. And like we have many cool open source programs like Google Summer of Code, Girl Script Summer of Code, Social Winter of Code, Hacktoberfest, which actually gives you a lot of PR, gives you a lot of like popularity and all those things, right? So any other questions, guys, that you would like to ask me, or if you have anything to add? Yes, Jatin?
Yeah, hi everyone. Often I have seen people like posting on Twitter, like they have got some immense opportunities by doing open source contribution. They have got like interview call or like direct job opportunities by just doing open source contribution. So I would like to know how these people find such projects कि जिसमें वो थोड़ा सा भी कंट्रीब्यूशन करते हैं को डायरेक्ट उन्हें कॉल आ जाती है इंटरव्यू के लिए. And my
Hmm.
second question is that how we can make our own repositories popular on GitHub.
Correct, right. So basically, for the first question, I will say like, so as I told you about the Express.js project, right? So Express.js is one of the most popular frameworks in backend engineering. So if you, for let's assume that you have contributed to Express.js, you have added some good feature to that, or you have added some HTTP library or socket library to that. So whenever you share your resume to a recruiter, their first instinct is to check out your GitHub, check out your LinkedIn. So whenever they do go to your GitHub, and if they see that you have contributed to Express.js, React.js, or maybe Linux, then that's one of the most positive impact that you will have. They won't even look at your resume. That's enough for them to look how good of a programmer you are. Because if your PRs are must to all those great projects, then it tells you that you are a very good project, where you are a very good developer, right? So first thing that it's very important that you contribute to good amount of projects. Like many companies have their projects open source, like TypeScript is given by Microsoft. So if like all these things are much used in corporate world. So if you contribute to some good amount of projects, you will automatically have a very good popularity and very good portfolio to showcase. And about the second thing, how you can get stars or contributors to your own projects. So in this Girl Script Summer of Code, there is a section to be a maintainer of the project. And similarly, every good open source program has an option to be a maintainer of the project. So you just need to fill up the form where you need to share the link of the repository that you want to be the maintainer of. And if they accept that, then you just add the tag of the program, and you will eventually have many contributors to your repository automatically. You just need to create issues that you want to be addressed on the repository, and many people actually will do that because of the label on the repository that will have. So label is basically, as I told you in good first issue, there are many custom labels as well. For example, Girl Script Summer of Code. If you add that label to your repository, and if your repository is actually associated with maintainer of Girl Script Summer of Code, then you will eventually have many more contributors to the project, right? So next, Sukrit. Yes, Sukrit, go ahead. Okay, so you don't have a question. Okay. Anyone else who have any questions? Okay, Aryan, go ahead.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
So my question is regarding script sum of code, and the question is how do they accept our application? On what basis they accept? Can you tell us?
Yeah, so basically, if you are applying for a contributor, most of the chances are that you will be accepted if you are willing to do some contributions to the open source. So you just try to have a good link GitHub profile. Just try to maintain your GitHub profile. You can just add a good picture. You can just add a good profile about section or all those links like LinkedIn, etc. So on those basis, most of the times you will be accepted in the Girl Script Summer of Code. You can use the code shown on screen. It will help you get accepted since it's official. We are the official partners of Girl Script Summer of Code. This referral code will help you. So all of you guys, just you can use this code and you will be accepted for the contributor. And for the maintainer part, if you have a good repository that actually solves something or do something valuable, then it will be accepted as a maintainer as well. Okay. Yes, Aryan, go ahead.
Can you show us like what should be that
Yeah,
GitHub
yeah.
profile
Just
look
yeah,
like?
I'll share my screen. Just a second. Okay, so I hope my screen is visible, right? So as you can see, this is my profile, and like I have added a cool profile README here. As you can see, I have added my text tags, my socials here. This is my stats. This is my trophies that I have earned in Hacktoberfest, and like this is my the green most popular green level, which we say. But I will be honest, like this is just raw. I haven't tried to maintain these green blocks. These are just rows. As you can see, like I have around 63 repositories. Out of many are private. As you can see, I just code in private repositories most of the times, and then eventually make it public if I need help to that. So as you can see, I have like a good README here. So you can generate this README by going on like GitHub profile README generator. So when you go here, you just need to add your about you, like if I'm Aryan, then I will add those things and or add all these things. Then you will get readme.md. You just need to go to your profile and create a repository with your name, with your username. So for example, my username is this. I just need to create a repository with this username. Let me show you how. So when you go here, you just need to create the repository with your username. And since I have already created my repository with my username, uh, I won't be able to do that. And as you can see, it shows below that this is a special repository that you can use to add a readme.md to your GitHub profile. Make sure it's public and initialize it with a readme to get started. So you just need to create a repository with this name, add a readme, and then paste the content that you will get generated from here. And then you will have a cool looking profile readme like I have here. So that will be very cool to show, right? So that's how you can do that. Clear? If you, any of you have any questions, do share. Yes. Yes, I see a question. Yes, Anima. Okay, so no questions, right? So come on, guys. If any of you want to share something, some cool thing about open source, or some cool project, or something you want to ask, just go ahead. Okay, so no questions. So now I'll give it to Preksha. Preksha.
Thank you, Aryan. Um, so, guys, if you have any sort of queries, feel free to ask right now.
And guys, feel free to use this code. This code will massively help you get selected for the contributor on in Girl Script Summer of Code. Since Open Source Chandigarh is the official partner of Girl Script Summer of Code this summer, this code is very useful for you. Just use this code when you are registering for the contributor.
So, I'll be sharing one feedback form link. Please fill that. Be honest about it and let us know about the session. Did you like it? What could we improve? And yes, Suraj.
hi Preksha. Can you please
Hi.
tell me where to use this code?
So I'll be sharing one forms link. It is available on Girl Script Summer of Code's official website as well. You can fill that form and there you'll be able to see the referral code portion.
Okay.
I have shared. So this is the official contributors form. Here you have to fill your details, and in case of referral code you can add our OSC's code, and it will help you get into the program on priority basis. uh, so you have already filled, you will be getting an official mail from Girl Script Foundation itself, and then you'll be selected as a contributor. On 10th May, the coding period starts. You'll be able to see the 2024 projects. You can choose the project based upon your tech stack. You can start contributing. You can join the official Discord channel of Girl Script Summer of Code. There you will be able to have a conversation with the project maintainers and admins of that particular project on which you are working. And it's not like that you're working on a single project, you can work on multiple projects. Great, Suraj. Any other queries? So we have Monit sir here with us.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Preksha. Uh, Thanks, Aryan. Excellent webinar and a great, insightful session that you shared with all the students. I have just a couple of things to share with. One is answer someone's query that how to find jobs, how people are able to find jobs using their open source credentials. So I'll just share a few things, anecdotes with you as well, so that you get an idea how to go about it. But and second one is before I do that, I'll take first 2 3 minutes to just give us little sense of this whole program of Girl Script Summer of Code. Though the name is like Girl Script Summer of Code, it's not only for girls; even boys can be a part of it. And you have already seen that Aryan was and Preksha, all of these folks have been part of Girl Script Summer of Code last year. They have all made valuable contributions to various projects in which they were selected for. So, having said that, this is the first step that you are going to take for being in an open source community and exposing yourself to the outside world. I don't know how many of people who are attending this call are from Chitkara University and how many are there from outside. The ones who are there from Chitkara University itself, they would understand that right now we have got 7,500 students who have already gone through a formal course on Git and GitHub in their first or second semester. Till third year, all of them are covered. Final year, they have done it in a different way, which is currently on their way out. So all of you have already done a formal course on Git and GitHub, and all of you were supposed to make a pull request over there and open it and close it as well and maintain a repo. So all the things that Aryan just told you about, those are covered. But still, if you've not done it so well, I can understand. Still, there is a possibility again for you to go and um, redo that again. And to how to make your repos popular, Aryan answered it very, very well, that you need to act as a maintainer. So to act as a maintainer, first thing is that you need to have a substantial project and a substantial understanding of the technology that would be needed for that particular project, whichever tech stack you belong to. So based on that, you first have to create a project which excites others, and then you can start listing your project on good first issues and other such places where people go and search for such kind of projects. You can make that project popular by using your direct communication channels. Also, you can tweet about it, you can put it on LinkedIn, and you can expect definitely there will be few people who would like to come and contribute and have a look at that project. That is the first step you have to take. See, this is a journey which will take its own time. It's not an instant success that okay, you go, you solve a level of problem on lead code and you get certified for it. Okay, you are at this particular rank of world. Even over there, you'll have to go through many steps or number of days you have to put in to start solving such kind of problems. Okay, so the open source presence itself has its own pace, it has got its own journey, but it is a very, very fruitful one, right? Now, if you would allow me, Preksha, to share my screen, and this screen can stop, so that I'll share just one small piece with you, so that this gives you a little idea that how you can start putting your skills to test and
Sure, sir.
seeking internships and other things. I need to share screen, so please unshare
Put
this.
them in.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you. So when we play around. So this is my. I hope my screen is visible. Can someone confirm me that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So if you see where I am right now, I am on the jobs page. Where do you get this jobs page? When you click on a LinkedIn, so you see the suitcase over here. So I'm hovering the mouse on it right now. So you see the third button, or the third button on the tab, or the third tab on the top is jobs. You just go and click over here, and let's say you want to search the jobs which would require GitHub as a skill, right? So it will tell you then about various experience levels. So all of you are in your engineering program. So maybe you're searching for internship. So now you can see plenty of jobs which are given over here. And if I look at this first one, Coders Brain India, it's a remote job. Already there is one person who is working over there, and from Chitkara University, if you see on the link on the logo over there, and you see, so this is where proficiency with code versioning tool using Git, GitHub, SVN, and Mercurial. So if you know Git and GitHub, you are practically covered. SVN or Mercurial, only one more skill you have to have. It is a kind of a centralized version control system. So that I won't be talking too much about that now. But so this is how you go and search about it, right? So if you see, all of these are all internship kind of roles which are listed over here. You can check them one by one, and you just using this easy apply button, you can go ahead and make an application for this one, right? So this is one thing I wanted to tell to that student who had this query, that how do I go and search for a particular job. But it comes with a caution. It comes with a caution that it will take its own time. It will take its own time for you to become functional. But it is highly recommended that along with your competitive coding that you are trying to do whatsoever you are achieving in that area, because that is also very very important. Keep yourself invested in open source technologies. ये मेरी नहीं है, वो लिखी हुई है। इसने बनवाई है। उधर रख। So when we talk about open source technology, so you have to invest your time along with your technical skills. See what this particular practice will show to the people in outside world is that you know how to work in a team, you know how to maintain or contribute in a project, you know a particular tech stack, and you have been able to solve a problem around its use case. So my only suggestion to you is that of course Girl Script Summer of Code is a platform that celebrates the quantity over quality. They will make that person as a topper who is doing the most number of pull requests. So that is also a very good way to immerse yourself at this point in time. In 3 months, if you are able to do more than 200 pull requests, which means around 70 pull requests every month, which means around 2 pull requests every day. So one can very well understand that you were putting in at least 2 to 3 hours every day on that particular project, right? So that is a very good way to prove it to the next level of assessment for your open source journey, that okay, you are a very very serious person. Even if you go on to make 50 pull requests or 60 pull requests or 100 pull requests over a period of 3 months, I guess you would have done very well for yourself. That is the first thing. Second is, once you have gone through this whole experience, you already know certain data structures part, and you know already certain tech stack part. That is when you start applying for the bigger, you start to make a cut in the bigger pieces of the game. Like we just spoke about Animesh, who has gone on to get an internship through Google Summer of Code. So Google Summer of Code is there, MLH fellowship is there. These are all a continuous programs which keep on happening around the year. So if you got a credible GitHub profile, this will definitely help you. And trust me, the job engines, they definitely look at your GitHub profile. So if you are putting up your GitHub profile on your LinkedIn bio or on your Twitter bio, that is always a very good practice. I, for that matter, know of one such product which is available in market, which crawls through GitHub and brings out the top 250 resumes for a particular tech stack, or 1000, whatsoever number I put on that, it will just give me those accounts back along with the repos in which they have made a contribution from all 4 dimensions: how many times you have maintained the repo in that stack, how many times you have contributed to that stack, how many people were available in that particular project, how many contributors are to that project, and where do you fare amongst those contributors in that particular repo. So this is the kind of project we made like almost 12 or 14 years ago, and it is working very well for many of the companies, right? So with these thoughts, I guess it's a weekend. You would like to take a breakfast now, so go ahead and go out and take your breakfast and other things. And but do apply to Girl Script Summer of Code, and keep following open source Chandigarh. I am trying to bring in so many initiatives through this phase of ours, and all thanks to the brilliant community members that we have at Open Source Chandigarh. All of them are doing excellently well, and my best wishes to all of you. Thank you so much. Thanks, Preksha. Thanks, Aryan, Udyan, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Monit sir. Guys, can you please turn on your cameras for a group picture?
परीक्षा वो नहाए नहीं होंगे भी.
No problem, sir.
Now we have to smile.
Yes, sir.
How long?
Karthik, are you ready? Smile, everyone. Okay, great. Also, we have Dr. Deepak Thakur, faculty head at Open Source Chandigarh. Sir, would you like to share some insights with us?
While Deepak sir is sharing insights, I'll share one more thing. Sir, please carry on, sir.
So please go ahead, sir.
No. You keep on speaking. I'm just wanted to tell you that I just don't mind that feed I have on my right side. Just look at the center, remote jobs, right? So this is what did I search when I went to Twitter? I searched for. I went to my home, and where do I get this search bar? Yeah, explore. So on this explore, what I did search, I searched for only this keyword remote, right? So this is, I mean, go help yourself, friends. So many things are available over there, so you can always try to find out more over here. Do open an account on Twitter if you don't have one. Deepak sir, over to you, sir, please.
Good morning, sir, and good morning, all of you. It was a really great session. I hope, Preksha, I'm audible, right?
Yes, sir.
So, yes, it was an excellent webinar, and I just want to, share one thing. Like students nowadays, they're really confused, right? What to develop, and they are looking, they are going online, and they are, maybe they are creating some repetitive content, maybe repetitive projects, and yes, always they're asking this question then, that how to create some, good, or maybe some good innovative projects. And I think you have covered a lot. You guys covered a lot about GSoC. So another thing is that it gives you the picture, right? That what kind of projects are trending nowadays, right? It gives you that spark. It gives you, maybe it would help you to think about some innovative solution. Yes, you are contributing to our open source platforms. It's great, but again, at the same time, it would enhances your skills, to understand some, good problem solving projects. So yes, it's really important that you should, participate in such kind of events, because it would educate you in various ways. You cannot imagine वो कैसे आपको education दे देगा, कितने scenarios, कितने ways से आपको वो एक skill person बना देगा. You cannot imagine. So it's not about, winning or maybe getting some good position, but it's all about learning. So my suggestion is that, you should always participate and show your best in such events. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining with us. In case you haven't filled the feedback form, I'll share the link again. And in case you have any kind of doubts, you can reach us on LinkedIn or Twitter. You can also follow OSC's LinkedIn and other social media handles. We'll be updating about our events there only. Thank you, everyone.